Welcome students. In this video, we will be doing time and space complexity analysis of removing duplicate elements from sorted linked list. So previous videos we completed the concept explanation of how to remove duplicate elements from sorted linked list, and then we did the iterative approach, the code of iterative approach, and the recursive snippet also we discussed. And the previous video we completed with implementation of the same also, and now whatever we implemented, we're going to analyze the code in terms of time and in terms of space complexity. Okay, we'll start. First of all, we will take the iterative code, and the iterative signature, the function signature, we will take it as t of n, time function, where n denotes the total number of node available in the linked list. Okay, where n defines the total number of node available in the linked list. Now coming here to while, there is a condition here. This condition, how many times it will be executed? How many times it will be executed? So you have to reach, q have to reach up to the end, am I right? Q have to reach the end. So totally n node, then n iteration will definitely happen. Okay, and one iteration that you will be checking for null, which is unsuccessful, but n successful and one unsuccessful comparison you will be doing, because every element you have to visit, and also null also you will be visiting. So every element, n element plus one null, so n plus 1 times it will be this condition will be checked. So it is n plus 1 unit time, so n plus 1 unit time. Coming inside your while, whatever is inside your while will be executed exactly for n time, because when it is null it will not enter inside. So that plus 1 for null, right? If it is null it will not enter inside, so for only n element it will enter inside. So each and every line will be executed for n time. So checking this, doing this comparison process, checking this condition will take 1 unit of time for 1 time of execution. If it is executed for n time, totally n unit time. So p of next will be taking n unit. Free of q also will be taking n unit for doing it for n times. And I think free of q, I think so this condition, which is speaking about the worst case. If all the entries are duplicates, we are just speaking about the worst case. Okay, so it is going to be having n unit. Okay, then for the two lines that we have in the else part, we will also take n unit for this also, n unit, and here also it is going to be n unit. So what is the total time that can be taken maximum? Okay, we're not compromising it with anything, so we're just checking how much is the total like time that can be taken at maximum. Okay, so it is going to be t of n is equal to, how many n is there in the equation? It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So it's 7n plus, what's a constant value? Only one constant value, so 7n plus 1. So taking 7 and plus 1, it's clearly a linear equation having only one polynomial variable with degree 1, highest degree 1. Right? It is a linear equation. So the time complexity of the iterative approach, we'll take it here. Okay. So the time complexity of iterative, okay, iterative approaches. Okay, time complexity of iterative approach is clearly order of n. Okay, because it is a linear equation having only one polynomial variable with highest degree 1. Okay, so the time complexity of iterative approach is order of n. Okay, so one thing I'll tell you, even in best case, even in average case, even in worst case, all the cases it is order of n, because whatever it might be, whatever the scenario might be, but all the elements we have to definitely visit once. So all the n elements will be definitely visited once, for which we need definitely n unit. So which will be like order of n everywhere, every time. So we're not going to classify it into best case, worst case, average case, because all the cases it is going to have that same time complexity, right? So now we will speak about the time complexity of the recursive approach. Okay, so coming to the recursive code, let us take the recursive code as t of n, the signature is t of n, time function, where n is the total number of node available. Initially, there are totally n node available. Entering inside for checking if it will be taking 1 unit time. Then for checking this if condition, it will be taking 1 unit of time. For doing this p of next equal to q of next, it will be taking 1 unit of time. Okay, either if condition will work or else condition will be working. Okay, either if condition or else condition will be working. Okay, in both the cases we will be moving q node to one position. Okay, in both the cases, because the end condition is based on q, so let us concentrate on q. Both the cases, both recursion, q is only moving. So either this recursion will be working or otherwise this recursion will be working. So let us not include both the recursion at the same time, either this recursive code or this recursive code. So I'll represent both the recursion with the same. Initially we had n nodes, so you took t of n. Now you are calling q of next or p of next, which means one node completed checking, you are moving to the next node, which means hereafter how many node we will be there? Only n minus 1 node. Initially n node, one node you completed and you are calling the second node, which means hereafter you will be having only n minus 1 node, so t of n minus 1. This also t of n minus 1 because q is changing. One node you are moving ahead every time. So the total equation that we can take, t of n is equal to t of n minus 1. T of n minus 1, okay, it is plus 3 unit actually, which we can take as 1. Constant can be taken 1. And what about the base case? Base case is when there is no node left, when q is not equal, when q becomes null, it will be over. When q becomes null, how many node will be there? No node will be there thereafter. So t of 0 is the base case, equal to how much unit of time will be taken for it? See, if condition only will be checked, it will not enter, because if condition q becomes null, so condition false. But for checking this condition, only 1 unit of time, so t of 0 equal to 1. So this is the recurrence relation that we have formed. So we will take this recurrence relation and we will solve it. Okay, so this recurrence relation, let me consider it as equation number 1. Equation number 1. Now what we going to use, what method we are going to use is successive substitution method. Coming to successive substitution method, it's like, it's okay. Coming to successive substitution method, first thing that I need to do is I need to find the value of t of n minus 1. Whereas the value of t of n minus 1 is equal to, in equation 1, instead of n, substitute n minus 1. So the new equation that you will obtain is t of n minus 1 equal to t of n minus 1, again one more minus 1, which makes it n minus 2 plus 1. So this new equation that you found for finding the value of t of n minus 1, this equation we will take it as equation number 2. Now substitute the value of equation 2 in equation 1. So the value of t of n minus 1 have to be substituted here in equation 1. So what will be the new equation? The new equation will be t of n is equal to t of n minus 2 when you substitute the value of t of n minus 1. So it becomes t of n minus 2 plus 1 here in this equation, plus 1 here in the above equation also. So it will be together, it will be plus 2. And after substitution, this equation will become equation number 3. Now we need to find the value of t of n minus 2. So t of n minus 2 is equal to, in equation 1, substitute the value of n. Instead of n, substitute n minus 2. So on the left side I already substituted n minus 2 instead of n. Right side also I will do the same. T of n minus 2 minus 1. N minus 2 minus 1, n minus 3 plus 1. Let us take this equation as equation number 4. Let us take this as equation number 4. And now let us substitute, substitute equation 4 in equation 3. So what will be the new equation? It will be t of n equal to, instead of t of n minus 2, n minus 3 have to be there. So t of n minus 3 plus 2 in this equation, 1 in the equation, together it will be plus 3. And this new equation, we are going to take it as equation number 5. Now, the next thing that we will be doing is, we will be generalizing the equation. Generalizing, because this keeps on going. We will have a general pattern of equation, right? So t of n is equal to t of n minus, this negative term is changing. All the constant terms that we have taken the same. T of n is not changing. Equation 1, equation 3, equation 5. T of n. T of n minus 1, 2, 3. Changing. That changing value we will take it as k. Plus. Positive term is also changing. 1, 2, 3. Negative term minus 1. Positive also plus 1. Negative 2. Positive 2. Negative 3. Positive 3. So if it is k, it is also have to be taken as k. So t of n minus k plus k, and this equation we can just take it as equation number 6. Now substitute equation number, say, okay, now what we need to do is we need to find the end point. Okay, not substituting, we need to find the end point when it keeps on going, n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4. When it keeps on going, what is the end point? The end point will be 0 nodes left when n equal to 0. When 0 node will be left? When this argument value becomes 0, which is n minus k equal to 0. So when n minus k will be equal to 0, minus k on the left side, take it to right side as positive, whereas n is equal to k. When n equal to k, n minus k will become 0. So hereafter substitute n instead of k, because both are equal, right? So t of n equal to t of n minus n plus n. So this equation we will take it as equation number 7. And here n minus n is equal to 0. What is t of 0? T of 0 equal to 1. So the equation that we got is 1 plus n. Whereas this is also a linear equation very clearly. So the time complexity of, okay, the time complexity of recursive approach is, again, it is order of n. So the time complexity of iterative as well as the recursive approach, both are same, both are order of n. I think better now we can go ahead with finding the space complexity of both the approaches. So still what we need to find? Space complexity of iterative approach separately, iterative approach, and also we have to be finding the space complexity. We also have to be finding space complexity of recursive approach also, of recursive approach. So coming to the space complexity of iterative approach, how many memory blocks we will be taking in iterative? P and Q are the only block that we are taking. So 2 block, a total of 2 block. Whatever input changes, even it is input, total number of node available 1000, 10,000 or 1 lakh, whatever it is, but we will be taking only P and Q, 2 block. So for Block P, it is 1 unit. For block Q, it is 1 unit, totally 2 unit. It's a constant value, right? So space complexity of iterative approach is a constant space. So order of 1, constant space. Coming to space complexity of recursive approach. Recursive approach space complexity depends on the activation record created. How many activation record created? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. 5 activation record for how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think, yeah, only, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 elements, we are having 5 activation record. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So totally n activation record, and in every activation record 2 blocks available. So totally 2 into n block. So 2 into n is a linear equation, 2 multiplied by n. So we should be taking it as a linear space complexity, which is order of n space complexity. So in terms of space, clearly iterative approach is very efficient comparing recursive approach, because recursive is a costly process in terms of memory. Okay, so the complete time complexity and space complexity of the problem has been completely discussed in and out. Okay, so thank you students, thank you.